Welcome back, everybody, to today's episode of Clicks and Bricks. My name is Ken. Today is September 1st, starting a new month. So balance those checkbooks, get your P&Ls started, close last month's books, all that good fun stuff. This is Clicks and Bricks, where every day we talk about business and technology. If you like business and technology, hit that like and subscribe button. Today's episode is brought to you by inlink.com. As usual, inlink.com/Ken is my account. If you want your own account, it's absolutely free. Go to inlink.com today, sign up for your account, and get your name before it's gone. There's still a lot of good names left at Inlink, and it's a social media aggregate site that you can have one URL to give to people, and it lists all of your different social media profiles, and I think there's probably 40 or 50 of them in there of all the major platforms. Moving on to our first story of the day. And this is a new word for me, transhumanism. I've never heard that word before, transhumanism. And this is basically, there's a company, there's a bunch of churches, tech companies and churches want to say, and it's the European Evangelistic Alliance. And they say that AI is coming along, right? This is a real thing. And they're just trying to make some rules around what AI should be, because if you're creating AI, like Musk is making this new robot and he's putting in things to make sure that it's safe, that it won't, it can't run faster than a human, and it's really designed to do very specific sets of mindless, repetitive kind of work. And I love that, but as companies, especially in America, we're capitalists and we're going to make cool new AI, and these AIs could have the potential to do massive harm. They could do massive harm to people, they could do massive harm to the environment, and this, we just want to make sure that is not going to be the case, right, as we're making these different artificial intelligence systems. Transhumanism, I've always called it cyborgs, right, is what the term that we've always thought, because Musk is also working on this brain implant, right? So imagine having a directly connected in your brain a computer that it's going to be crazy, and I don't know, the world is going to be a very wild place. And right now we already have this divide of the classes, and I'm really fearful that the divide on the classes is definitely going to be if you have a chip or not, what kind of chip you have. Do you have the latest chip? Do you have an upgradable chip? All of these things really could divide the classes even more, or create a bunch of crazy classes, right? And if you have the money to get your kid the best the best implant that's updatable at birth, why even go to school? Like, if you can just upload all the data direct, and then you have these toddlers that are Einsteins, because they just put all Einstein's information into your brain. So it's going to be really crazy. It's going to be scary technology to adopt for sure. But right now, I know for a fact, if I could get cyborg shoulders and cyborg knees, I would definitely be on that train, and without a second thought, right? So, I have a lot of modifications on my body already. I don't think I could be a cyborg yet. But there are some studies that say we're already cyborgs, because your phone has become such an attachment piece to your body that you are basically walking around with a handheld computer all the time, and it's become an extension of you already. So we already have all this information with just a couple clicks away, but they're just reducing all the friction there completely. So it's going to be a scary world. It's going to be a lot of fun, though, and get ready, because this shit's going to get really, really weird really, really fast. And with the metaverse and the new AI tech coming out, it's just going to get... we're coming to the point to where, like, maybe not the Marvel movies could be realistic, but some of this shit could be, right? With DNA hacking and stuff like that. Superheroes of the future is going to be really, really interesting. And think about, like, they'll chip, a police officer will have a different kind of chip than a doctor, right? Probably. Just all kinds of crazy stuff. Anyway, if you'd like to join my text line community, my number is 314-370-2871. That's my personal text line number. If you text me any question, I'll do my best to answer, and I'll send maybe anywhere between 1 and 4 texts a month. Some months I don't even send a text at all because I don't feel like it. So, but I'll never try to sell you anything on that text line. Join the text line community. It's a lot of fun. I will drop some news, like when new offerings are coming out. If I see a new crypto hit that I like, then I'll kick that out too. But that's about it. I know I keep saying I don't like talking about politics, and they keep coming up, but this one's highly tech, and this is the Raven Immigration Project. And Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and other tech companies are in a frenzy to help ICE build its own data mining tool targeting unauthorized workers. So they're going to scour Facebook, Reddit, all that stuff, looking for language that says, pointing to people that might be undocumented workers. I don't disagree with it overall, but they're going to dump $300 million into this project, and this is ICE, the immigration services. More than 500 people, over 200 countries. I just feel like $300 million could be spent on making the immigration process becoming a legal citizen so much more streamlined. I just think that they're answering the wrong questions with this $300 million. And I think, we're a melting pot. That's one of the things that makes America great, is that we, have a good immigration system, and we like different cultures. We like that stuff. Sometimes it creates issues, but it's always worth it in the end. And I just wish that they took this $300 million and put it to making it easier to become a citizen and vetting that citizen out than to track down the guys that are already here earning a living. And I understand there's bad players in that game that are here illegally or undocumented, however you want to call it. But they're here already. The damage is done. Let them live their lives and take that money and invest it in something that makes it better for the country, not tracking these people down. It's just silly to me. But moving on. The Hue and Spotify Sync. This is really cool as shit. So Hue is, if you got Philips Hue lights and you have Spotify, then you can sync them up, and then the Hue lights will play with the music. And I've got a little video clip from the commercial from Hue. Sean, can you throw that up for us? I absolutely love this. And when smart lights first came out, I have to admit, I was a little skeptical. Right? I'm like, what? It's a light switch. Why do I need that? But I have adopted smart lights in my house, and I absolutely love it. I love the fact that I can say, Alexa, good night, and she turns off all the lights in my house. Right? Or most of the lights. My son has to have some lights on. But it turns off all the lights that it's told to turn off. It's got different programs, right? My lights turn on with my alarm clock because I use Alexa for my alarm clock. So I really have fallen in love with my smart lights in my house. And Philips is a great company. They got great technology, and they got great technology in their lights. But the fact that now we can do, literally like at the old concerts, like, I guess they're not old, right? You still have concerts. Concerts are back in play, but you can have some really cool light effects inside your house. The other thing that I really think is cool that they have is they have a special setting for watching movies, right? So now we're to the point to where we can customize our lighting for what we're doing, right? I really hate eating in a dark room. I don't like it. I like to see my food. I like it bright. I like to see that it's clean, all those things. But when it's watching a movie, I like it a little dimmer. So having that flexibility, I think, is wild. And I think as, in 10 years from now, as we're driving down suburban streets, we're going to see different little parties going on and how people like their lighting situations, just being fully immersed in this different kind of light experience than we're used to. Most places are either a bright light or a dim light, and there's not a whole lot of variations in each room. Now we can go all kinds of crazy ways. What's the next one? Psychedelics are big business. This is pretty crazy. And I've been studying this whole, not studying, I guess studying, I don't know, looking at it, and there's a lot of theories about how the human brain works, and we just don't know. I mean, we've lived with our human brain our entire lives, and we don't really know how the whole thing works, but we're getting better at it every day, and psychedelics are becoming a big part of that. And there's some theories that say that, that all the information of the world is out there. It's in the world. It's the energy that we have. And if you can get your brain to the right spot, this is why people meditate. And I meditate. I try to meditate every day. I had to admit I'm not the best at carving that time out for myself, but I do meditate more mornings than not. Is trying to get your mindset to a place that it can accept this information. And if you look at people like Einstein, who wrote 4 of the most famous papers in science in all time, and he wrote all 4 of them in 1 year. And part of that was that, a lot of these were from his dreams, right? Like, he dreamt E = mc squared, which is insane. Or not insane, it happened, right? And I wouldn't call Einstein insane, but it's crazy for me to believe that happened. So with the psychedelics, from my understanding of what they're trying to do, is get your mind to a place that it can absorb this information. It's also really great for anxiety, like low dosage of psychedelics. I know some states have legalized mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms, right, for medical use. But this particular company went public, biotech GH Research went public, and now they have a $1 billion evaluation when they went public, and they're raising money. But they're doing research on this one, and I'm going to struggle saying the name. And I'm looking for it in my paperwork. I had to go get COVID tested this morning, so I ran a little bit late. And this is basically a toad. And it's this Soren desert toad. And they're doing research on, I guess, the chemicals that it releases that are psychedelic, which is pretty cool. And they banked everything on this frog's toxin or psychedelicness, and they raised $1 billion. They became a $1 billion company overnight. Nobody even saw it coming. So, and they said that's the way they wanted. They wanted to fly under the radar for this for a while, but they raised the money that they need to do the research, and hopefully this opens some new avenues for medicine moving forward, and helps with the transhumanism stuff that we've been talking about earlier. Moving on to the last topic of today before we get into the growth tip. And today's growth tip is a little different, so if you want to you should stick around for it, because I'm going to tell you some of my own secrets here today. There's a pickleball focused restaurant, Chicken and Pickle, and it will open in St. Louis on the riverfront development. Not huge news. Pickleball, if you know pickleball, I've always thought it was like an older person's sport. It's like half tennis, is my understanding. So it's tennis, but on the half of the court, where it's like some of the other squares. I'm not a good tennis player at all. I suck. Last time I played tennis, I was in Florida on a family trip, and a 9-year-old beat me at tennis. So just not my game. And that's okay. I don't have to be good at tennis. I don't have to be good at pickleball. But what's interesting to me is it's a pickleball themed restaurant, and not to be confused with Chick-fil-A, who is also chicken pickles or whatever. They do pickle brine. Which is the reason I don't like Chick-fil-A. But so Chicken and Pickle opening in St. Louis. The reason I'm bringing it up on Clicks and Bricks, because it doesn't seem like a tech topic, is that I think this is the future for brick and mortar businesses and restaurants and stuff. I think the days of just having really good food and a nice smiling waitress that brings you your food, decent service, and decent food, I think those days are over. I think if you have a brick and mortar business, you have to become some kind of destination spots, right? Something that you can do other than just go there and eat. We have a really great restaurant right down the street called Westport Social. I can go there. I can play bocce ball. I can play they got basketball hoops. They've got darts. They've got karaoke. They've got all this different stuff that I can do while I'm there. Sometimes we'll shoot hoops a little bit and have a little bit of friendly competition, but most of the time we just go there and hang out and goof off. But it's a really fun time. So you've got these axe throwing companies popping up all over the country. You've got these new interactive things that people are doing, and I think coupling those with restaurants moving forward, getting people. you got to give people a reason to get out of the house anymore, right? And they have to have something more than just a good meal, because it can just be delivered to their house for $5 and they don't have to leave the comfort of their home, right? And they have great things at their house now. So you got to get something other than what they're currently doing. And more than just inspired, right? I mean, it's got to be something more than just inspired. This chicken and pickle restaurant will have, you can eat, it's going to be like a golf club, but you can go play pickleball and have lunch, or pickleball and then have dinner, or have dinner and then play a couple games of pickleball. I think it's a great idea. I think we're going to see more and more of this stuff in the future. And I think the axe throwing companies, at least the ones in St. Louis, are behind the game, and even the escape rooms, right? These are great little businesses, but I think they would bring it up tremendously if they served food, right? If I could go eat dinner and then do axe throwing, I would probably do that. But I'm not going to take and invest in a night out just to go axe throwing, and I got to go find a restaurant and then do it. And the ones around here, even, like, they let you order pizza there. So they're just missing out on a ton of opportunity. That's my opinion. I really like these themed restaurants and the multiple things, buckling multiple things together to make one business. I know when I was younger, this goes back probably 15 years, I had a video store. We owned the building, and the video store by itself, and it was in a low income area. I grew up in low income areas, so most of my businesses were started in low income areas. We had in the back of the video store, we rented out a couple barber chairs, right? And we had little snacks and stuff that we could sell to people. So multiple things inside of one business, I think, is a fun, smart thing to do, and it gets people more incentive to get out to your business. Be careful not to destroy your brand by doing too many random things. That's pretty a common mistake as well. Stay within your brand, do whatever you do, and then keep moving forward. But add some excitement into your businesses, and then you'll see it grow a little more. Today's growth tip. Whoa, what is that? Nope, not boxing today, guys. Sorry. This is Clicks and Bricks every day at noon. Sorry, on my TikTok, I do a lot of boxing videos, and I normally go live with boxing videos and not Clicks and Bricks, but Clicks and Bricks has been doing pretty good on TikTok the last couple of weeks because we've been doing it consistently at noon. Anyway, the growth tip for today isn't really a growth tip, but it's how to avoid the simple pleasures in life that bring us so much temporary joy, but we know that they push our really good dreams and our really good stuff past out into the future. So I'm talking about, sitting at the bar too long, too many drinks, if you've got drug problems, how a way that works for me, and it doesn't always work for me. I fail at this. I fail at a lot of things regularly. This is one of my bigger failure points in life. And I've been failing at it pretty hard the last couple of days because I've not been at home because of this COVID scare. Is I like to procrastinate. It's the only tool that I have found that works for me consistently. And when I say procrastinate, it's like when I want to do something and I have the idea, so if I'm in a bad mood and I'm like, man, if I just went to the bar and blow off some steam, I know I'd be happy in an hour, right? So I do that now and I procrastinate that. So, okay, if I still want to do that an hour from now, then I'll let myself go do it, right? And then what happens is I generally, I get my endorphin rush from, I'm going to get to do that. If I still want to do it an hour, I'm going to go do it. And that takes my brain off of it, and I can go do other stuff. I can work on other things, right? And I say, so I'm going to do 5 push-ups this hour. I'm going to get through this hour. I'm going to do a little bit of homework. I'm going to work on an ad, or I'm going to work on something for a client. And if I still want to go blow off some steam in an hour, I'm going to let myself do that. And more times than not, by the time that hour's up, I'm like, I really don't need that anymore, and move on with my life. So you'll probably, other than for the simple pleasures in life, or the simple sins in life, whatever you want to call them, those things that give us instant gratification, and you know what yours are, right? They give you instant gratification, but they delay your end goals, and they take that time and energy away from you, and they're really not going to create long-term happiness. It's going to give you that just that temporary feeling of good stuff, which is great. I love it. I know you do too, or lots of you do. A lot of you struggle with this, so that's why I'm giving you this tip. When you want to do your thing that makes you feel good instantly, and you know it's stealing from your future, just try to procrastinate for 1 hour. There's lots of tips that you can do for there. And that's any kind of tactic. That's even like, if you're like, hey, I'm bored, I'm gonna scroll through Facebook. I troll nonstop. I troll through Facebook, I troll through, not Instagram, Netflix. Like, I think I like looking for movies more than I like watching movies, right? It's a horrible habit, and it steals bandwidth from me. So if I'm, in the middle of the day, I kind of get stuck on something, I can just turn that on and then click through it. What I find is that I end up doing that for way too long. So put time limits on the things that you're gonna do and stick to them. But the bad things, the really bad things for you, try to procrastinate. Give yourself an hour. And if you still want to do that thing in an hour, and you're talking to yourself really talking to yourself about it, I think you'll find more times than not, after the hour's up, you're like, yeah, I don't need that anymore. I'm going to keep working on this project, or I'm going to keep working on this other thing that I'm doing. So that's it for today, folks. Again, if you want to join my text line community, 314-370-2871. That is my personal text line. You will get 1 to 4 text messages from me a month, but I'll never try to sell you anything on that line. So that's it for today, folks. Thank you for joining us at Clicks and Bricks. Get to work.